Hi, my name is Jordan Stevens, and I'm doing my project on the paper using analytic hierarchy process AHP to improve human performance and application of multiple criteria decision making problem. The main purpose of this paper is to solve the human performance improvement problem by employing AHP method. In this paper, we present a model which illustrates the relations and importance between human performance improvement and style of management. So basically, in this paper, they want to increase human performance. That means the skills that make a person good at their job, make them work efficiently at their job, and how these styles of management are related to that. So they go into their introduction. They talk about how in the past, in the 1990s, there was a lot of emphasis on technologically centered applications to make things more efficient, make things more cost efficient, and make things higher quality. But they talked about how if these technologically centered methods aren't also related to a human-centered method and how humans interact with machines, then they usually fail. So they're trying to talk about the importance of human-centered study and how humans interact with machines to make things more efficient. Once they do that, they then talk about how it's related to AHP. So they start talking about the criterion. And they say that for this application, there are three main criterion: conditional, managerial, and individual criteria. Under these criteria, there are 7 sub-criteria. So we're going to talk about the first one, which is conditional factors. The first criteria for conditional factors is the physical workplace. This is how they can ergonomically design their buildings to be comfortable and safe for the employees, so the workers, they work better in better lighting conditions and such. The next one is the organization of work. So they were talking about how they're for certain industries and for certain jobs, there's more rigid structure and there's a more fluid structure for how the market moves. The next main criteria is individual factors. This one has 2 sub-criterion. The first one is human performance capability. Basically, this talks about how good is a person at their job, how good is a person at their core abilities, knowledge base, that kind of stuff, and how can we improve that so that they work better. And the other one is attitudes and human performance. How can we keep employees happy with the management styles? How can people be working hard and happy with their job? Then the third main criterion is managerial factors. This has 3 sub-factors. So leadership factor. Can we employ leaders to actually get things done, to transmit a sense of mission and stimulate learning experiences and inspire new ways of thinking? The next category is company culture factor. How can we enact policies and that promote good thinking and promote good thought of employees and reward good thought processes? The final subcategory of managerial is participation and involvement. How can you get the managers to be involved with their employees and vice versa, the employees involved with the managers so that they work together? After this, they talk about the 3 main alternatives that they're going to be talking about. The first one is management by instruction. This is to just give the basic requirements to your employees, saying, we have a basic requirement for you and you must fulfill this basic requirement. It's very rigid, very traditional. The second management style is a little more new age, and it's management by objectives. This is where you give teams or groups or individuals goals or objectives, and they get rewarded based on those goals and objectives. The final one is alternative management, is the management by values. This is to have a values and beliefs of the company and to inspire workers to work towards these visions for the ideal employee. After this, they start talking about the analytical hierarchy process methodology. So there's three main parts that they talk about when they design the problem. First is the design of the actual hierarchy, the prioritization procedure, and the calculation of results. Developing the performance hierarchy, they just show us here that what their hierarchy is, so the three main criteria and the sub-criteria and the alternatives on the bottom, and they all go to the goal, which is human performance. It's a very basic structure of hierarchy. After this, they give the weights of them. These are just kind of assumed at this point, but then underneath of it, they talk about how to, in this section, they talk about how to calculate the weights, and they also talk about the 9-point intensity scale. So this is talking to managers and asking them questions about how is this aspect related to this aspect. Then they start talking about pairwise. And then they start talking about the actual ranking system and how to rank them together. So here's the top level of the hierarchy. So there's conditional, managerial, and individual, and how they're all related to each other. And the ratios, they're pairwise comparisons. And then it goes below that. So here's the managerial table. So there's the three sub-criteria of managerial, and so on and so forth. They show every table and all the values that were given in the tables, along with their local weights of each of the alternatives. These local weights are important. They calculate all 7 of them, and after they calculate all 7 of them by first summing the row and dividing it by the actual value in that column, and then adding it to the next row and the next row to get these percentages. These percentages add up to 1, which basically means this managerial focus is this is culture. So basically this one doesn't mean anything, the individual, but the instruction, but the other two mean a lot, just based on the local. Then after that, they show all 7 of the sub-criteria and their alternative percentages, and then they give an overall rank. Based on this overall rank, they rank the best management style. So what they came up with their example was the MVB, which was the management by values, was the best choice. After this, they did some sensitivity analysis, basically, where they did consistency of pairwise comparisons. So they find the eigenvalue of tables and find out how they result for after switching a few values around and a few of the managerial answers back around. And then they show the final result of it, and then in the conclusion they basically show this is not a foolproof problem and that they rely on the managers producing the right things. After this, I decided to implement it, so I started off with a database, and I have each one of the columns, and each one of the tables associated in the database. The 7 sub-criteria, the 3 criteria right here, and then the main one. After this, I'm going to close this down so Excel can use it. Then I'm going to go to Excel, and I created a macro right here that will use a from Access database to import the tables from Access. After this, I calculated the local weights, which are the same as the ones shown in the paper, and then I finally calculated the answer. This answer is very, very, very closely related to the other one, and they're only a certain few percentage points off, and they align with the paper. So my implementation aligns with the paper. Thank you, and have a great day.